Welcome guys to another episode of the All Ears podcast with me, Luke Barnatt. This podcast was invented for me to learn more about the world. I felt like as I became a good fighter, the better I got, the more I had to learn. The more I'm learning about all these things in life, I feel like I know so little. So I bring on interesting guests to talk to them about different topics in the world. I try and learn along with them and they get to teach me things, and hopefully you guys learn as well. Welcome back, guys. It is officially our 20th episode, the 20th episode of the All Ears podcast, which apparently I was told puts us automatically in the top 10% of podcasts in the world, because most people don't make it past, I think, 10 episodes, let alone make it to 20. So bit of an achievement, and we've managed to do it week on week on week on week and being consistent, and that's the plan to continue for the rest of the year. So thank you for tuning in. I really, really appreciate it. Have another amazing guest for you guys today. Pavol, what is harder, do you think, for you at the moment? Because you're in a bit of a crux in two positions of your life. The future of becoming a father is more intimidating, or turning a small business into a giant business?
Oh, definitely second one. Yeah, definitely second one. First of all, congrats to your 10% to be one of the 10% podcast. That's something. No, definitely the second thing, the growth of the company. It's so fast. OKTAGON is growing so fast that it's so hard to be on the track, because you need to grow with it. That's challenging constantly, because of course I'm so much goal-oriented person, so I always make the goals higher and higher for myself, for the team, and it's not always advantage. It sounds maybe sometimes cool, like okay, you get a lot, but in reality it makes a lot of pressure for people inside of company, for everyone, for myself. And then somehow it goes fast because of all of this. And now suddenly you appears yourself to be able to handle it. Like it's changing my role, for example, so fast. It's crazy, because you start like just the entrepreneur who is doing everything, right? Like, you know everything. You write the post, you make the graphics. I was doing photo shooting, filming, everything, with Andre, matchmaking, promoting the events. And then it grows and grows. You delegate. Okay, you are still in charge. You are the smartest person in the room. Then you need better people. So suddenly you take a more smarter people than you are, and I appears in a role where I am not the smartest person in the room, and you feel stupid. Okay, but like then now see that I am not good boss. How they look up to me now, like. Because I don't know some things, not just because there's a smarter person than you are about some topic, but also because there's so many things suddenly. It's impossible to know everything. So I really feel like bad. And then I talk with a few people, and I just learned that my role changed. I need to make an environment where the smartest people can be the best versions of themselves. So, that was like first transition, I would say. And now the company is getting bigger. We're expanding different countries. It's a lot of work, a big amount of work. And some people are overloaded, or if they don't see properly the goal, they are losing the motivation, and they start to be like annoyed about the things, and the mood is going down, and you need to come and bring the energy, but you are tired by yourself. But you need to be the most energized and give it to them, like, come on guys, this is the goal, this is what we are achieving, we are the biggest now in Europe, and we want to be better, and this and that. It's hard. This is the craziest part, I would say, now for me.
I feel it from you. That's cool. I feel like that's great. That description's great. I never had anyone explain that to me. As it grows, the pressure of not being the smartest guy and having to, I guess it comes down to trust. You have to trust the other people, that they know better than you and they can do the job better than you, and not meddle in their work. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never had this problem. I've never worried about not being the smartest guy in the room, because I doubt I am the smartest, and that is one of the reasons I started the podcast. I talk about this quite a lot, but in fighting, the more you learn about fighting, the less you feel that you know about fighting, because there's so much to learn. And in life, I kind of feel the same, because my whole life was about fighting, and then I came in the business world, and so I try and bring people on that everyone that comes on here knows more than me. I'm always the dumb guy. I understand what you're saying, but I don't feel any pressure to be the smart one, unfortunately.
I mean, like, for example, about the fighting, I'm also not smartest about every topic, for sure not. Like, but in your world, like about the fighting, for example, you know, like imagine the environment when it comes to fighting, you know how it goes. You know the things, you know the techniques, you know the history and everything, rules. And then, you know, imagine to growing is sometimes you hiring the maybe smarter people who know the rules better, this and that. Yeah, it's something like that.
No, because I said, like, it's our 20th podcast, and our first ever podcast, we had your partner, Andre, on. So he was the first guy that we ever did it with, and now I have you.
Cool.
So that's cool as well. And I questioned Andre a lot about the story of Octagon. So obviously, we said, become an amazing company, huge, biggest in Europe, and now venturing out to different countries. But I went all the way back to the beginning because I was personally interested, and I'm selfish, and that's why I bring people on to talk to them. And I want to get your remembrance, how you remember the company starting, because I spoke to one of the production guys that works for you, and he told me that you just wanted to start a TV program.
Yeah.
In the original, it was like, you just wanted to do a TV program about training and fighting.
It was like I was so much focused on the one thing, to make MMA fighters popular, because I was so desperate about the fact I had the management for MMA fighters. I tried to sell them, and it was okay to manage fights for them, but I want to get sponsors for them. I know I like what they were doing. I appreciate those guys, and I want other people see what I see. You know, like, so I want to make them popular. So, yeah, the first idea was to make a show. Okay, if it's supposed to be popular, it must be in TV. Otherwise, no chance. Especially 7 years back. Now it's easier to do social media, but back then, so it must be in TV. So if it must be in TV, it must be good TV show. So I created a TV show, and that's what's our first product. That we went to TV stations everywhere. And I would say both with Andre, we were so much focused on this thing. Just to make the TV show, and we film it, we start editing it. I remember, like, now it was August filming, and September quick editing, maybe even 1 or 2 episodes were out. And then Andre was like saying, like, hey, like, and we were start to be focused on the tournament, which was in December. And Andre was like let's make another event, plan another one, like to make a regular this thing and make a promotion. Now it sounds so stupid if I'm saying, like, it's how come it was so obvious, but no, somehow we didn't talk about it at all. And I was like, yeah, that's such a good idea, right? Because we put so much effort in it. And like, yeah, so this is how the promotion was born. That we come up with that idea, Andre, that let's do it again and again, again.
So
it was like that.
You were both involved from day one, like from the beginning, or did you have to approach Andre about the project, or how did that go?
Yeah, I had it in my head, and I filmed even demo. I invested my own money in it a lot of time. It was like quite 2 years, let's say, before the things really become to happen. Like, we have a deal, let's say, with the TV, and somewhere in the middle of this journey, I filmed some demo to be sure that I can do it, because So to be sure, okay, I have a dream about some TV show, but I can film a TV show, and my capabilities is good for it. So if I saw I can do this, then, because it was first video, I filmed the first documentary in Czechoslovakia about MMA, and it was good, popular in that small bubble, a little bit outside of the bubble. So then I knew if we want to make something big, it must be Czechoslovakia, because we are like this in Czechoslovakia. We're doing everything together, like Superstar, X Factor, all the TV shows, Big Brother. It's always Czechoslovak, because we understand each other so well. So, and I approached Andre because what I was doing, trying to promote fighters, make them popular, he was doing the same thing in Czechia, filming content, trying to make it. I'm not sure if he has his podcast that time, but definitely he was doing this and commentating sports since forever, and since 99. And I approached him like, hey, I have this idea. It was actually funny. We have a meeting, and I approached him like, I have this idea of TV show, and immediately he said yes. I mean, and I didn't know. I don't know if I can say this, but yeah, whatever. He has a kind of deal about making MMA popular with some other people. But I think it was different thing, but he said yes to me because I think he feel the connection. That was so much his vision about how he want to make it. We were just so much on the same level of how we saw the thing. So similar. It's still today. Like we have so much same approach to what we want to achieve, how it's supposed to look like, and so on. So he even said no to that project and started with me. And,
Oh wow!
And and we immediately shake hands, become partners, and it was since then we are on the track.
And for people that don't know, maybe are watching, Octagon just had its 51st show in Prague, the Game Changer, the end, the big finale, and everything else, and the end of the year. So you've now done 51 events. How many of the TV show have you? How many TV shows have you done with that?
We did 7 seasons of our main reality show, OKTAGON Challenge, and then there's multiple. I didn't count it, so I'm not prepared for this number, but multiple. I would say at least 10 bigger kind of shows than many small ones. But let's say 10 other shows, like put some celebrities together to prepare for the real fight or different formats.
I like the mini documentaries.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop us so we can light these cigars, but I'm also going to move this bottle because I'm autistic and I can see it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, watch out because that's a flamethrower. So Pavol decided to, as we're one of the only podcast studios in the world where you can smoke cigars, he decided to bring 2 cigars and gifted me this one. Apparently the best cigar in 2022. So thank you very much.
Yeah, enjoy.
Yeah, but you don't burn your eyebrows. So.
Oh, this is a strong one. Oh my God.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
And so I should have spoken during while you're doing that. But and also, most people know that I go to Romania and hang out with the Tate brothers and all that sort of stuff, and they love cigars, blah blah blah. And Tristan's got a $55,000 lighter, and it's cool, and it's a DuPont, and he's a G, and all the rest of it. But they use this. This is why I have this one. It's called a car, and
this is first time I heard that this kind of lighters exist. And what you are saying, it's like you have a Rolex, but you are watching the time on your phone, right?
Exactly.
So
yeah, we've got Rolex, but we watch the time on our phone. He's got a $55,000 DuPont, but he lights his cigars with this. So this is the industrial one.
Cool. Yeah. I really like it. Appreciate that this is allowed in this very unique podcast.
I told you not to burn your eyebrows, but I think I just burned mine.
It's too strong. Yeah, I got it.
Beautiful. Oh, okay. So what were you doing before this? Because I never asked you this, and I don't know. And you said you did the documentary for fighters and you were managing fighters, but before the TV show, before Octagon, what was your day-to-day? What were you doing for a living?
Actually, from the MMA perspective, I was the manager, and I was maybe one of the first, not for sure, not first, but one of the first MMA YouTubers, I would say. I was traveling around the world and visiting the most known gyms and making vlogs from them, like AKA, I don't know, Jackson Wing, and many others, all-stars from Sweden.
But these were they were in Czech, Slovak, or they were in English?
They were in Slovak and Czech.
Okay. That's probably why I've never heard of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, why I didn't do it in English? Yeah, I was not smart enough. I don't know. I was always trying before the Octagon. I was always trying to do something. Somehow I felt inside of myself that I was born for something big, and I felt that I will. It's like in this movie Inception, but luckily someone gave it to me. I don't know who. When I was probably very small, that I believed that I will create something big. I will be part of something big, really, which has big influence on people. And I was searching for that thing maybe somewhere inside of myself. So I was trying so many things. Now, if I look back, I think it's a good thing when you are in 20s. It's good to try many things because you get a lot of knowledge and experience which you can use later when you start to build something when you are 30 or older. So I was a bouncer during my history studies on university. For example, 7 years. That's how I met MMA fighters and get inside of this environment. I used to be a photographer. I would say kind of successful. I was photo shooting the Miss, like this competitions,
Europe or whatever it
competitions.
is. Yeah.
But not just the event, but I mean the Miss competition, the company, they hired me to make the nice photos of them for the show.
Now you hire the people that win it to be ring girls, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how I know that or why I know that, but okay.
Exactly.
But carry on.
So I just finished. I was a photographer. I was, let's say, the small filmmaker. I used to play in theater. I used to work on stock market, this day trading from home. And oh my God, I put so much energy and time in this. Like, it's hard to believe I was every day 12 hours just preparing, testing my strategy and getting super deep into trading on stock exchange. Crazy. Actually, it's changed me a lot because I was preparing technically, let's say, my strategy. And then I jump in, it goes like this. First weeks, I was making so crazy money. I was like, yes, I got it. I will do this all my life and I will be rich. Like, fuck. And then it started to go like, down, up, down. And I was like, what's going on? And then I realized it's how much is it about your mental state. Same as fighting. Like, you can train like crazy, but at the end, when the door are locked at the cage, then it's about the head, right?
Yeah.
This was the same thing, and I need to, if I don't want to go to zero, I need to do something with myself. And it was big, like school of life and the mental improvement and everything. So I learned about psychology and mental things.
Have you ever taken that skill set into crypto? Into the crypto market?
No, I just simulated then. The crypto came when I was already running Octagon.
And you're too busy now.
And too busy,
Because I had like the opposite, call it opposite, but fighting, which he said mental test, all the rest of it, fighting in UFC, blah, blah, blah. When I came out, I discovered crypto. And the way you describe your journey with the stock market is kind of how mine was.
Actually, it helped me with crypto, if you say about it. Yeah, now it came to me that what I learned is that nobody can predict what will happen on market. It's the biggest lie. People believe it, but it's bullshit. Nobody knows what will happen. You can constantly read these articles. Oh, now the bull run is starting. No, nobody knows it. It's bullshit. People trying to, get the clicks or something on their articles. Because if something happens, some crypto bank will go to, bankruptcy or something or some problem, it appears in market in seconds, basically. It's there. When you read it somewhere, it's all already happened on market. You are too late. It's in minutes, let's say, not seconds, but okay, it's first minutes, and then you are coming and it's all gone. So nobody knows what will happen. And there are so many studies on stock markets. People try to make this fundamental prediction because of the weather and how it goes. For example, trading corn or oranges or whatever.
Yeah.
It was never successful. More than just coincidentally, if you put trades, it's the same thing always. So the only thing which could work is technical analysis. So, and it learns me to be patient. I also I bought crypto and I just keep it. And not trying to read the news, what will happen or not.
Yeah, because I think, I've been trading crypto a little while as well, but it's funny how you describe it because the guy that I know who's done the best out of crypto, he always says to me that the market decides the news. The news doesn't decide the market. So whatever's going on if the market's good, there'll be so many news articles coming out about how amazing it is and all these things that happen. And as it's bad and in the bear and everything else, the news will then all come out. So it hasn't, whatever the news says has nothing to do with what's going to happen in the market, according to him. He's like, they just manipulate the news depending on it to get clicks. And that's the thing I think now maybe that's changed. With the new way they monetize YouTube and all these other things, that people just want clicks. So they'll just fearmonger you. They just want to grab your attention. So he gave me the advice, which you're obviously following as well. Is like, if you're going to buy it, just buy it. Stand by your guns. Don't read the news about it. Don't do anything because it doesn't affect it. You just affect your emotions. And your emotions go up and down.
Exactly.
And you go to bed depressed and you wake it. And he's just like, just wait and see what the market decides to do. And when the market decides, like you say about bull run, the people are going about bull runs for the last few months. We've been going on about the recession for 3 years.
Yeah.
We're going to go into the biggest depression, the biggest recession. I think the stock market right now is almost at the all-time high in America. It's like higher than it's ever been. And everyone's like, how? We've got 2 wars going on. So it's all bullshit. Just don't worry about that stuff.
Exactly, exactly. And also one thing I learned that is when it always goes like this, is on every market. I mean, it's even if you're trying to sell product or whatever, let's say the stock market, it goes slightly up. The people who knows, who are the pro traders or people who really are deep in some fundamental, like it's not the public, definitely. It's people from the industry. They start to buy, so it goes slightly higher. Then it grabs people who are trading things, for example, grab their attention, so they are buying, so it goes a little bit higher. Then we have the bull trend, right? And it goes higher, steeper, like .com bubble, Bitcoin multiple times, right? And it's the golden rule, like when your male man is saying about something that it's a good
top signals, sell.
Yeah. Exactly. And this is like in crypto, it's totally like people are, oh no, crypto everywhere. It's a perfect time to quit. Always sell or at least stop buying.
But that's when
this moment
you said the mentality becomes difficult, because when everyone else is saying, oh, it's amazing, you're like, maybe it's going to keep going up. And it's very difficult to. At the moment, it's easy because you bought it, everything's down. You're just like, nothing I could do, you know. But when it's going up, and then you're like, everyone said it's going to keep going up. That's when you have to have the like.
Actually, there's a very simple reason behind this, because there is this, I would say, people who are in the industry, then the traders are buying, they are jumping in the bull run. Then the public, right? But behind the public is nobody else. There's no one else who can buy. So that's why it can never go higher. It's just impossible.
Yeah. So when the retail buyers or the public buyers know, that's when you get out.
Yeah.
So what's the famous phrase? When there's blood on the streets, that's when you should buy, right? So when everything's red, that's when you should buy. So when everyone's telling you it's a scam, whenever you're telling it's over, recession's coming, blah, 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 that's when you press the buy button, which is right now, by the way, just so you know. And well, we'll see. And then when things are good, sell green, buy red. It sounds so simple.
Actually.
I never thought.
Sounds so simple.
I never thought we'd be talking about trading on this podcast. I didn't even know you did that before. But you said you felt since you were young, you always would have a huge impact. You think, because I felt the same thing, which is strange. But when I was I always thought I'd do something big. I always thought I'd have a big life, big career, something would be big for me. When I was in the UFC, I felt like that wasn't the thing.
Oh, really?
I was like,
I just want to say, oh, you did it.
No, and I still don't feel like I did.
Not that.
But for you, Octagon feels like the thing. For you, it feels like, you feel like, obviously it's going to get bigger, but you feel like that's the thing.
How I feel, it's like I'm on the way to that. If it's this or something which will follow, I don't know. But I feel like I'm on the way to that point. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if it's this, but yeah, definitely it's going in my favor, I would say, towards this
it's all
thing. I don't know.
You just had a tournament, the biggest tournament in Europe that gave away the most money in Europe ever. So when you talk an MMA with the Game Changer, so if your Tip Sports Game Changer was €1 million tournament, it's the biggest tournament ever in Europe to give away the biggest prize money ever. These things didn't exist when I was fighting in Europe, because if they did, I would have made a hell of a lot of money. But now for the guys, so I believe you are making an impact. A big impact, but again, I just asked that question because everyone used to say to me, like you just said, you did it, UFC, I was like, yeah, but I don't think this is it. I think that I'm destined for something else. I don't know if that's just the mentality.
Maybe we are. I don't know if you're talking about this now. We are just not maybe there, or we are trapped in this putting goal higher and higher. Maybe we'll be never there, because I don't know. If you ask me that question, I was thinking immediately, it's not, I don't feel being there, but it's maybe because I still move my goal higher. Maybe we'll be never there.
This is like again, I didn't expect to be talking about this, but this is a super common theme on like everything I talk about, and I talk about like the conundrum of how much money is enough money, what is happiness, what is goal setting is a big part of my life, and I'm the same. I have this rule. I got it from Arnold Schwarzenegger. You probably know about it, but it's the 80% rule, where if I set a goal and I reach 80% of that goal, I always then have to readjust the goal to something bigger, right? So for you, OKTAGON's going to do 10 tournaments. Once you've done 8 tournaments, you're like, okay, now we need to do 14 tournaments. And the thing that I have done, which has helped me feel better, if you want to call it that, is when I then hit the goal that I set originally, that I have changed, the goal's supposed to have changed, I always make sure I reward myself for like, you did it. Woohoo!
Yeah,
you did it.
okay.
But I'm never satisfied. You know what I mean? It's like so how do you probably have the same problem by the sounds of it, but I'm trying to work out how to feel something. I don't know how to feel good. I don't know. It's a stupid thing to say.
And how you know you achieve that goal or this 80%? It's a mentally, or you make it on purpose. Okay, now I feel, you re-evaluate and you know you are there, or how you know it's.
I try and quantify absolutely everything that I set. So any goal that I set, I try and quantify it in a certain way. It's obviously very easy with like physical fitness. If okay, I want to be able to bench press 100 kilos and I can only bench press 60 kilos. Then if I get to 90 kilos, I'm 80% there. So now the 100 kilos needs to be 120 kilos, for example. It's a bit more difficult with other things and influence and the rest of it. Again, for podcasts, at the moment, episode 20, my goal is to do 52 podcasts in 52 weeks and never miss a week. So that means when I get to episode 40 or whatever it will be, I have to do 100 or whatever the thing I'll change.
Okay, so like that. So you can measure it, I would say, because I have it like different way. I like your method. It's much clever because I know that I get the goal when I start to be bored. And I suddenly start to be unhappy at things that I'm doing or daily duties or something. Suddenly, there is no joy. And I'm chasing something so happy, pushing team every day at work. And suddenly, I'm just bored. I don't like it. I need to push myself to work. I'm like, what's going on? What's wrong with me? And I learned before, it happens many times in the past, okay, this is the point. You somehow reach your maybe unconscious goal, because when I imagine myself or the company or something somewhere, and suddenly I'm there, in my head it's like done, and I start to be bored, and then I know, okay, this is, I wake up, okay, make a new goal, and I need to rewrite it.
Well, that's literally why I gave up fighting. That what you just described, it become boring to me. Every day doing the same thing, and I went through a period where I want to fight. I felt
because
nothing.
Your goal was what originally?
That's the problem. This is the problem. And this is how I have quite a good, or I believe I have a good understanding of this. My original goal was to get to the UFC. And I never reevaluated it. You know, I'm talking about the goal here. I never reevaluated it. I never wanted to become UFC champion. I never wanted to be top 10. I never did any of that. I wanted to fight in the UFC. I got to the UFC. I went 3-0 in the UFC. And then I moved to America. I stopped setting goals. I stopped focusing. I made it. You know, the classic mistake, right? The classic. I was in California, living in San Diego, living on a yacht, driving a G-Wagon, all sponsored. Didn't pay for it. It was all sponsored. And like living the life. I'm in the UFC. Everyone loves me, blah, blah, blah. Training like a madman, training hard. Never trained harder. Like, this is the funniest thing. And then I lost 3 fights in a row. 2 split decisions, once against Sean Strickland that I won, just so you know. Anyway, but then I went on this like training hard, best gym, Alliance Gym in San Diego, Dominic Cruz, Phil Davis, all these amazing stars, Eric Del Fiero, head coach, best coaching.
Cannot be better.
Can't be better, right? But I kept losing fights because I had no focus, no intention, no anything. And I just kind of let it all unravel, you know? So it's like, that's how I know now, retrospectively. This is 10 years ago now. So it's like it's taken me a long time to understand this stuff. And that's how I feel like now. That's why I set that 80% rule up in my life, and I put it towards finance and towards other things that I've been doing, and it's been garnering great success for me in the past 3-4 years. But that's why your evaluation of how you look at goals. That's why I stopped fighting, because I want to fight. I felt nothing. I was like, because I think because my biggest fight of my career probably was against Mehmet Khalidov. You know Mehmet Khalidov, right? You as a European MMA guy, right? He was ranked number 7 in the world. It was outside the UFC. After I left the UFC, I had 5 fights, won all 5 fights, all by finish, I think. And I got offered to go back to the UFC. So I got offered to go back to the UFC, and I got offered to fight Mehmet Khalidov. And me being me was like, okay, if I go to the UFC, I have to beat 3, 4 people, 5 people maybe, to even get an opportunity to fight someone in the top 10. And they're all going to be tough. All those 5 people, I know what it's like, the elite, best of the best. Or I can fight Mehmet now, I can beat him, and then I can join the UFC in the top 10. This was my mentality, right? So I took the Mehmet Khalidov fight, and everyone told me I was crazy, right? And I was, because I got knocked out in 21 seconds. In Manchester Arena, where you just did Octagon.
Oh, my God.
I just did the Octagon event you just did the Octagon event in Manchester, in the same arena where I've had 2 fights. One was fight of the night or submission of the night for the UFC against Andrew Craig, which was probably one of my best victories. And one was when I got knocked out in 21 seconds against Mehmet Khalidov. And the third time I went there and was in the cage, well, technically by the cage, was with you for Manchester.
Oh, my God.
Anyway, the podcast is about you, so not...
Yeah, I mean, this is I just want to say one thing, that how it still amazes me about the MMA, many things, but this is one of them, that how cruel this sport is. The competition is so high, and if you want to really succeed and be top 10, you just need to, let's say, only winning. Okay, you can afford to lose 1 or 2 times. If you lose 3rd time, you're just done. There is hundreds, another hungry, younger fighters that took your place, and your train just go away.
And then your mind goes as well. Crazy. That's the thing. So again, that being the highlight, then I think then when I won fights, I always compared it to that. And I was like, I fought the competition at this level. I'm now fighting the competition at this level. So when I win, who gives a shit? Mm-hmm. I want to beat these guys. That's all I cared about, right? So I won, felt nothing. Then I lost the fight, felt nothing. And as soon as I lost, and I was like, that's when I was like, okay, I'm out. I'm going to stop doing this. I don't feel anything. Mm. And then I went through about a year and a half of exactly what you said in your 20s, doing everything you could think of, because I had no idea what I was going to do. I spent my whole life fighting, and I was like, what am I going to do in my life?
What's next? Yeah,
but it's nice. So then I come up with the idea of setting the 80% rule and goal setting and all that sort of stuff. So similar ideologies and thought processes. I never thought we'd have that conversation. But now for you, we started the podcast talking about your team and how Octagon has grown so much. Like now you're in 4 countries technically, is it? Or
technically, yeah, Czechia, Slovakia, Germany, and the UK.
Yeah, and so this year, 2024, we've got Newcastle on the 27th of January.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I got that right?
Yeah, that's right.
So that'll be the first event of the year, and you decided for the first event of the year to go to the UK.
It was actually it was very complicated to put a calendar on, because you have you want to make certain amount of events in Czechia, Slovakia, then Germany, then UK, plus the arenas, they have just certain dates free. It's super complicated thing. We spent so much time around that, and basically we were standing in front of the situation. Okay, the January is the best month to do that, because all the German or we have German tournaments in February, then in end of the December is O2 Arena in Czechia. So the only country which fits, it's UK. So we decided to do that, and we will see. It's a hell of a journey, I would say, to expand to UK. It's so different market, and we are learning a lot on the way. And especially this is one of the hardest thing. I was thinking we will not suffer with this, I would say, mental issue, but we are. I have to admit that. I was always saying, like, when people ask me about Germany, okay, how come you succeed there and blah, blah, I was saying, because if you start a business from the zero in Czechoslovakia, okay, it's hard always to start from scratch. And then you become big, it's easier, you scale the thing. But to go to Germany, you need to start over again. Mm-hmm. You need to everything you are on the beginning again. So, and for many entrepreneurs, it's hard to go back, to swallow this thing that you are again nobody, I need to sell the thing again, saying the same story. It's okay, you can show nice videos from Czechoslovakia, but it's still, you're on the 0.0. And I was always saying, because we can do this, think like that's why we succeed there, and we can be successful in other countries. Okay, we are going to UK, and now I see that it's hard for everyone, that we get used to success. We get used to, we announce tournament and tickets are selling, and the arena is full, and everyone is like cheering. Oh, good guys! You like it. It's addictive, right?
Of course,
it's like drug.
Yeah.
And you want it more.
Yeah.
And then you go to UK when you are nobody, which is okay. You kind of aware of it, but. So, for example, we have a 4,500 in AO Arena, and for us it was like we felt so unsuccessful. Like we oh my God, the worst feeling ever. And the whole team was desperate, but then we somehow evaluate that. Come on, here in UK, it's a very good number. It's OKTAGON 1 from the UK perspective, and you got 4,500. That's a great number. But
how many people did you have at OKTAGON 1, the first ever show?
It was, I think, if I remember well, it was 1,700. Right?
So you did 4 times as good. If you look at it that way, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
But you said it like it's a hard pill to swallow. Like when you're. Everyone loves me, and then okay, I got to start all over again. Like you did it, and just for the viewership that don't understand, in Germany, first tournament in Germany, how many people did you have?
We had like 8,500.
Yeah, 8,500. Just sold out the biggest event ever with 19,000 people.
Yeah.
Biggest event in German history,
and
that was in like a year and a half of moving there, right? So
because sometimes you are lucky, the things are going well. For example, we have these. Because Germany was really not developed that much, so we took the biggest stars, and then I won't say it's easy, it's hard work, but then it goes somehow how you want. So we are selling these big arenas because we have the biggest stars. In UK, market is more developed. I would say not that super developed, even if it sounds crazy for someone maybe. But the biggest stars, they are already in UFC. And the fans that we can call like MMA community, they are not the MMA community, they are UFC community. They used to watch UFC. So this is the hard part. You don't have fighters. You have, but the biggest names are away, signed somewhere else. And you need to somehow attract people who are used to watch UFC and tell them you are interesting and worth enough to watch and love our thing and our heroes. So it just all takes longer. We see the progress. We know it's fine if you look at it like if you put it in a bubble and you see it. Okay, now it's progressing. It's good. It's perfect. But still, if you measure it with what you used to, it's that's different. This is something what is super hard to swallow, I would say, and go through. And that's only why the strongest can do this. It's in the business, I think, in any industry. If you're expanding different countries, like this is the points that, and only the strongest, smartest, cleverest can go through or figure out how to deal with them to continue to grow and conquer at the end the market or achieve their goals. So now it's on us if we can do that.
Because for me, it sounds to me like you're just describing life. Like I know you're talking about OKTAGON and the highs and the lows and everything else, but I felt personally, again, telling about me, after doing the UFC thing and everything else and having the adrenaline rush of 20,000 people, all this sort of stuff, then normal life is like you going to England. Like you said, you sell 4,000 tickets. You're like, yeah, but I'm used to selling 20,000 tickets. So you feel nothing. Even though it's a big achievement, you feel nothing. So this is how, going back to what we were talking about before, like that's how I feel sometimes when I do things. I feel like, yeah, but I should be doing this. Well, my sports psychologist spoke to me about this, and he said that your dopamine levels or whatever, I don't want to get, I don't know because I'm not scientific.
Yeah, dopamine, if you...
Your levels are used to being here. And I've seen you cage side at events, I'm never going to say this right, but the Stanivice or Stanice.
Yeah, Stanice.
Stanice, you know, when you had the music and you're there and the vibes and how amazing you feel. I can see it. I can see you like glow, you know, and how happy you guys are. And then so those moments that you create, and that's what I said to Andre, was like, you guys create moments rather than fights. It's about the moments that you create. It's like, you're so high. So your dopamine's so high. And then when you have to come down to like normality, for you, normality is not high enough. You know what I mean?
That's actually, thank you for saying this. That's what is happening probably, yeah.
So you're like, but a normal person.
And you think something is wrong.
But it's not. It's normal. And so it's hard. So it's very hard to adjust. Like for me, I've struggled with this as well. It's very hard to adjust to normality because you're used to have your dopamine being here. And if you don't hit this is why we become addicts and addictive and all that. And you just said
or
you're
workaholics,
which we both are, without a doubt, you know. And I've got to the point now in my life where joy, like just pure joy, doesn't exist. Because I feel like I've destroyed it. I have to work for that moment where the music's going in Stanovice and people are looking at you. You get joy for 2 seconds, then you're like, okay, what's next? That's my life now, and I feel like it's yours as well. You know, so it's like
it's similar like to buying a new car. I mean, especially if some dream car, the most joyful part is since it become reality, so you have money or you know how to get it, you go there, you're picking the car, the color and everything, right? That's that feelings, and you cannot wait until it's 2 months, okay, we'll be here. And then you have it, okay, it's 1 week fun, and it's a similar thing.
Yeah, so
it's crazy. Yeah,
it's combating this, which is something that I'm trying to figure out. So only successful people I speak to on the podcast. So it's like I always try and think like, how are we going to combat this problem? Because how are we going to be happy when our dopamine needs to be here all the time? The reality is we're not going to be.
Yeah, definitely. Otherwise, you will get crazy somewhere. You will be, you will die from heart attack because you are workaholic or you are drug addict or something. You're right. Or you destroy your relationships around you because you are so much searching for it. And you never get it successful or enough, like you said. I think, or if I think about this topic, I always think maybe these people around who is on the opposite, I would say, side of my style of living, who is this like doing constantly yoga, meditation, these slow people, which sometimes I think, come on, what you did in your life, you know, just in this basic dress somewhere on the beach, sitting and playing drums. I don't mean it bad, but sometimes some voice inside of head saying, "Come on, you are doing nothing, just sitting here." But maybe they are right in something to consciously remind yourself, okay, I don't need everything. Sometimes it's good to be simple, like. And reminding this and to find the joy in simple thing and present moment, like is all these spiritual things, then I think this is the right thing to remind yourself, like to be happy in the present moment. Like sometimes just sit and okay, the temperature of my skin is nice, it's good, I feel good, the sofa is soft, and I don't know, my living room is nice, and wife is pretty, so I feel like happy, right? Like even if nothing is going on. So sometimes trying to reminding these things, but of course, because I am dopamine junkie, then another voice is saying, "Oh, but be careful, because what if you become this guy, like, and stop chasing your goals?" So I don't know. It's a trap. I don't know.
But it's a good trap. I think the philosophy thing for this is they say, I'm going to butcher the quote, but it's something like there's more peace to be found not in having more, but in wanting less.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly.
But if you said that to me when I was 16, it sounds like a loser talking. Right? It sounds like, you didn't achieve anything, so you just want less, you know?
Yeah, exactly. But you're saying it because you never achieved, right?
Yeah. So I think...
Same here.
But like I said, I think it's like balancing those two things.
Yeah.
God knows how we're going to do that.
Yeah.
So to move on, because we could talk about life and philosophy all day, you guys have just been in Vegas for the MMA Awards.
Oh, yeah.
Again, talking about dopamine and things you probably imagined happening and everything else. So the first time, or another
first time we have been nominated there. Yeah.
Okay, first time you've ever been nominated there, which is like a huge deal, I think, especially because obviously I'm part of the team with OKTAGON and everything else, and I speak to people, and people don't even know what it is. You know, I think sometimes you get caught in this bubble, like you said, massive in the Czech Republic, massive in Slovakia, now massive in Germany, and you spend every day thinking about the thing. If you step outside and you speak to somebody in the US,
Yeah.
Never, like, I got friends talking to Chael,
sure.
and they're just like, what do you mean? Never heard of it. Like, okay. But now, Chael, talking about Chael, he was the guy, the presenter, right?
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
I saw
He was
on your
good.
thing.
He was funny.
He's hilarious. Being there and being amongst the stars, if you want to call it that, how was that experience? Tell me about Vegas.
Oh, yeah, it was a great experience. We have been nominated in 4 categories, like the best promotion. That was the most important for us, the best promoter or the leading man, Andre. And then Louis Glisman for the technique of the year, and John Hathaway for the comeback of the year. So 4 categories, and we were super happy. We were thinking maybe that Louis Glisman could win because his unique reverse omoplata was super unique. He deserved the win. But it was great. It was great to be there, to see all these people, see the Vegas, see the size of the sport from the different perspectives, see the size of the UFC. Of course, we all grew up on UFC because they made it, right? They created the sport, basically. So you're aware of it, but it is more present when you are there and you see them. That they are super huge, and they deserve it. I'm actually on one side very happy about it, that our sport has its like Olymp. So if someone is a UFC world champion, we are all agreed this is the best fighter in the world. If you compare with boxing, which you have million organizations, nobody knows who is the best, right? We can just discuss it. So just to see the size and everything, it was interesting. See the different fighters, the presenters, all the journalists. It was a great experience. I would say we unfortunately didn't win anything, which was we expected that. Even if we make our fans crazy and we ask them to vote. So I would be very curious about the numbers, how far we were at least from the UFC that they won everything. But yeah, it was a great experience, definitely. ESPN broadcasted this event, and they played our teasers there and the videos from Octagon. This was the nice thing. That like you said, the first time they touch it. And this is the first time. And you know what's funny thing? I don't know if you have this. You know, I always say the strongest motivation or the moving force inside of all of us is the touched ego. It makes this unconscious, super strong will to prove someone something because it touched your ego. This is stronger than love, which is one of the strongest things ever, or desire for money or whatever. And they put they sit us on the side, like we were sitting at the end of the row, like kind of on the side. Okay, there was very like popular people sitting behind us, so it was not the worst seats, but still we felt like, oh, you motherfuckers, like,
oh, wow,
this is how you treat us, you know. So it makes you want to prove them. So I take it like this is the first year. Of course, we appreciate all the hospitality and everything. Yeah. It's, you know, this small thing that you want to prove everyone. And I think it's good for sport, for everyone, that we will be more hunger and we want to like deliver, and one day we want to win something.
I think that's like an important point for life, not just for what you're talking about, but the world and everyone around us, they talk about ego, and they talk about ego as if it's a negative thing. Like being egotistical is negative. They say, oh, you shouldn't have a big ego. There's a big famous thing in MMA, in the gyms. I'm sure you've seen it. It's probably on the wall of some gym that you've seen.
Oh, yeah.
Leave your ego at the door. I'm like, no, bro. I bring my ego with me on a backpack, and I'm fucking proving that I'm the best in the room. Like, ego, it drives all of us. Ego is the most positive and best thing you can think of, I think. I think if you use it the right way and you have the right intention, then it's good to have a big ego.
Okay.
You know, so your ego now is to prove these motherfuckers wrong, that you should be in front and center. That is motivating you and pushing you to become better. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, you don't want to hurt them, you just want to be better.
No.
Yeah, you just want to make yourself better or your product. Yeah.
So I think if you process ego internally and make it an internal fire that you're burning to become better, there's nothing negative about that. So anyone who tells you like, don't be egotistical, you should be that's just, I'm not going to sound political now, but leftist bullshit. Like, we're all even. No, my ego is bigger than yours, and I'm going to prove it. And as long as you can back it up by your actions, you can't just have big words. If you back it up with your actions, like you now, we're going to win something, okay? You want to win something, you got to put on better events, you got to draw more crowd, you got to work harder, blah, 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 blah. So if you back up your ego with something, then
Yeah.
it's not
I
a
agree.
negative, you know?
I actually like what you're saying. Yeah, I never heard this, and I like it. Actually, nobody say this online. Yeah, because if you have the good motivation, if you know to have evil, some kind of goals. Yeah, I agree.
I think a lot of people associate ego and money with evil. You use the word evil, so I use it as well. Like that. Oh, the guy must have money because he. Listen, bro. Like I've got money because I provide value and love to the world. Like you've now got money because of Octagon and because of all the fans and all the happiness and all the moments that you make.
Right.
There's nothing evil about having money.
Oh, no way. I mean, I recently just heard someone saying the very interesting thing that never ever in history. Now there is like 30 or I think 30 or 20, whatever, billionaires who is below 30. And these people are now giving like so much money, like never ever in history is going to do like to the good projects, like doing this, how it's called, if you give to foundations, charity and this kind of stuff. Like never ever in human history, so much money is going to build a hospital somewhere in Africa or whatever, doing good with a lot of money. So definitely there is nothing bad about that.
No. I say this a lot to my friends and to people that have this negative opinion about money. Is like you cannot pour from an empty cup. So if you're a good person and you want to do good in the world and you want to help your family and you want to help your friends and you want to help everyone around you, you can't be broke. Like it's much easier to help people if you have money. So
exactly.
Money is not the problem, and people keep.
And also sometimes it's a big misunderstanding. I don't want to go much off topic, but there's sometimes this misunderstanding that people think that, for example, Jeff Bezos has, 60 billion or how much, 100 billion dollars. They think that many people think that he has it on his bank account. They don't understand it's in value of his company, which means 500,000 people, they have work, they can feed their families, and they can go on holidays, kids go to school, thanks to the value he's bringing to society with it. It's not like they have it in their pocket. This is big misunderstanding. Oh, why? Then they say, why 2% own all money in the world and blah, blah. Like, come on. It's a value in it. You're going to work thanks to these people.
Talking about billions of dollars, because you said it. And about Vegas, you guys went to the Sphere, right?
Oh, yes.
I think that was 3 billion or 2. I don't know how much was spent on it.
2.3 billion.
2.3 billion on this building. Tell me about it.
Amazing. My God, yes.
I'm going to go in February. Tell me about it.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like I will. There's 1.2 million these small dots,
LEDs,
big like this,
LEDs,
like 5 centimeters diameter.
Okay.
LEDs around the building, which can make any color you want, these beautiful pictures. But inside is even better magic. You have 17,000 arena inside, which is insane. It's like go-to arena. It's huge. And the screen, which is 70 meters high almost. And behind that screen, the LED screen has a 16K,
You're the right guy to ask this because you know all the technical bits.
Crazy. and behind that screen, I was constantly thinking, where the hell are those, that audio? And behind that screen somehow is 162,000 this audio system units. That they can send you perfect sound, whatever, if you are in the first row or the last one, same sound for everyone. And what is the totally crazy thing? If I will be sitting in the section A, and I will hear, for example, someone speaking, I will hear the English. And if you'll be sitting like 1.5 meters from me in section B, you can hear Spanish, perfect, like super high quality, without hearing my English voice. It's like somehow they can aim the sound to each seat and send a different sound. So they can make the speech like the talks, and where people can hear different languages without having headphones or something. That's absolutely insane. It blows my mind.
And you obviously use AI to do this, right? To do the translation, I guess, or whatever.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was not there. Okay. I heard this, but I know it has this
capability.
Yeah. And the O2, the Bono, he was great. Like he's 65, if I'm right, and he was so good, and so he still has this fire inside of himself. He was like, oh my God, like, I'm so happy how you are in this Wednesday. And you feel he mean it. He was connected with the audience, and the show was just really, I don't know. I probably never saw anything like that before. Like, it's insane, and I recommend it to everyone to see that.
The Sphere, right? And
Sphere, yeah.
And you think, I don't know, you probably, I'm sure they are. The UFC are going to go there. And
Yeah, they are going there.
You know when?
Next year, I guess.
Okay, next year.
Or early 25, something like that.
Oh, okay.
And Dan already said this will be the best event of the MMA history,
But
which I believe in after this, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think with those capabilities of language and all that, I mean...
The only limits are your own creativity or the promoter's creativity, because you can do everything there. That's crazy, really. I love Vegas, and this is big reason to go there. Again.
Yeah. But have you been to Vegas before this trip?
Yeah, I was there before. Yeah, a couple of times.
I remember when I used to live in San Diego, I used to drive down for the weekends, like probably twice a month. It's probably changed. I haven't been in years, so it's probably changed quite a lot. But an amazing place, and for shows, especially with all that sort of stuff. But I'm going to go in February, and I'm going to try and go to the Sphere.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'll tell you how it was. But Octagon in Vegas one day? Is that any ideology of going to America?
No. We have the one day I asked or myself, or we ask ourselves, we don't say like, what is the thing that we are, or we could be possibly the best in the world, like nobody else can? Because I think you should chasing this thing or trying to fulfill this kind of goal. And quite fastly we came to the conclusion that we believe that we are the only one who can be the best in Europe. It sounds weird to be, what are you, best in the world? Yeah, I'm the best in the world, to be the best in the Europe, but you know what I mean, right? Like, because Europe is so specific, how it's so many divided countries, different languages, like we don't know basically each other, even if we live next to each other, like Austria and Czechia, totally different, like, okay, UK and Ireland, they are more close, Czechoslovakia more close, but it's UK, and right behind the sea is France, and you don't know the habits and nothing. Like someone is superstar in France, nobody knows him in UK, right? So specific. And I believe we can achieve this, if we do it right, of course. To be number one in Europe like nobody else can, and be so fucking big. It's more than 400 million people live in Europe. It's more than US. So the market is huge, and there's so big potential to make people crazy, like the European Championship, Champions League. It's in football. It's international thing. It's super huge. It's European thing, but it's so big that everyone in Europe loves it. Everyone is watching it. And plus, whole world is watching, right? You go to Bangkok, and guy on tuk-tuk, he has a arsenal, you know, these stickers everywhere.
Bro, it's what I think of when you say that, becoming the best in Europe, which I agree. I think that's, I mean, not that my opinion matters, but having been around the sport for 17 years, everyone tries to do everything and tries to be, and no one's ever going to compete in the US with UFC. It's not going to happen. Even Bellator, PFL, what? I think Joe Rogan said something recently. He said, like, UFC is like the NFL. No one cares about the I can't remember, CFL or whatever.
Yeah.
If you play for the CFL, people say, why don't you play for the NFL? No one cares. So it's always going to be that in America. But Europe is a complete, and in my opinion, the UFC have failed quite a lot in a lot of places in Europe because they don't understand that. Yeah. They have the American mentality, and they don't quite understand the difference of culture and everything else that we have in Europe. And I mean, you said the difference between France and England. I would say the difference between Manchester and Liverpool.
Yeah,
they're huge.
Oh my God!
You know, so
that's the like different continents.
Yeah, I mean, it really is
to see this.
Because again, putting the event on in Manchester, we had some big Liverpool talent. You know, obviously like Paul Smith and also Shamrock didn't find him, but whatever. A couple of like Liverpudlians. Liverpool people won't even cross the water to go to Manchester. They will not drive 20 minutes to go, because it's just a weird mentality.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
So if you don't understand it, so it's the goal of becoming the biggest in Europe and focus. I mean, you already are the biggest in Europe, but really taking over and conquering it is a complicated goal. But have you, with what you're doing now with the Tip Sport Game Changer, that kind of is what I see. You know, like the amount of flags that you have for all the different people. We did welterweight this year, just gone.
Yeah.
And this year we're going to do lightweight, right?
Yeah.
So with the lightweight, how many different nations are going to be involved?
I think it will be, if I count it quickly, it will be around 12 nations, if I'm right, minimum. Yeah, different nations all around Europe, and that's one of the biggest projects. Yeah, how you can maybe connect the Europe and fans together to have a common thing to watch. If you bring the stories properly, because it's very hard to sell. It's someone is from Miami, you can easily sell him to Delaware, right, or whatever state. But here is someone is from Romania. You need double work or even more to sell him to English audience or German or Czech. But then you have to go better. You need to be better in storytelling. You need to show them that his story is so interesting that you cares. Or make the marketing around him in this way, so they will start to care, and that's our goal, to do it like that. Like Ion Surdu, for example, right? Dracula, okay, Romania. So you have some hook, so you can first something you can remember, and then you build the story around him, and people can remember and cheer for him.
Because then you've got to do it in every weight class, right? That's the thing, right? You got to find a hook and a fire and a star across every weight class, across every country.
But what we get actually, what is different, makes us different, is that in our events, from the first fight, arena is almost full, or full many times, which you don't see this on other promotions, because we are building the stories around almost everyone. So people want to see the first guy as well, same like the last one. Of course, the main event is the biggest hype, but they know him, even the first one. So they want to be there and see it. So that's good. That's this reward.
So you said, we were going back a little bit on goals and everything else you said. You're always trying to push the goal further and further and further and further. And obviously, it's a big year, 2024, 14 events this year.
15.
15 events. I have the dates somewhere, so I kind of know. 15 events. What is the overarching vision? You said you're going to be the biggest in Europe and everything else, but you have a vision for going into next year, 2025. So I'm talking a whole year away. What's the next year? Because I know you plan way ahead, way
even
ahead.
25 now.
Yeah, so 25. What's your biggest goal for this year and to finish there for Octagon?
For the 24, you mean?
To finish the whole of 24 and go into 25.
Oh, yeah.
What for the promotion, for you guys, for you and Andre? What's the biggest thing you want to achieve?
Biggest thing definitely to settle in UK, Germany, and Czechia and Slovakia, and possibly in 25 go to another country. We'll see where it could be. But
What's on the list? You give me some,
okay, I can give you the
options.
Multiple countries that they are possible. It's the Middle East, actually.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah. It's France, it's Serbia. So this is the countries that could be an option, or Sweden as well. And we will see. There are multiple others. Unfortunately, not Spain still.
Probably the Spanish people don't have the money to buy the tickets sometimes.
I mean, it's I don't know. Also the fighters, the scene and everything, Spanish audience is different. Maybe that's for me the ultimate goal, to make it once in Spain. Because if you make it in Spain, it means we must be big everywhere else. And to do it in some huge corrida where the bull...
bull ring.
Yeah.
We have one next door.
Yeah.
Just so you know, we're in Marbella Center. In Port Banús, there's a bull ring next door. That would be so... That would
it belongs there, right?
Yeah. Gladiators fighting. No balls, though. No balls. But then we had Svanitse, like you said. Svanitse has ended now, so you're going to do a big outdoor stadium,
we are doing.
right?
Okay, actually, this is you mentioned this for next year, for 24. Definitely, Sport Game Changer. There's this Champions League that we spoke about. It's the biggest money ever paid in Europe. 1 million euro is in whole pot. Winner gets 300,000. It's crazy. It's life-changing money, and we are super happy that we can deliver this with Tipsport. But it also is this outdoor arenas. I don't know if I can just tell that we are planning more than one outdoor stadium for the next year. And it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. We think that with certain events next year, that the whole world will be watching. I'm sure that there is a event that the whole world will be watching.
Okay, well,
It'll be insane.
I won't push you on
And we
what
want
it's
to
gonna
make it
be.
right and different, not just because we want to be different, but because we see it different from the first idea. Okay, let's go here, do this, and let's do it in this way. Like people normally don't do it in the combat sports. We want to make it like that. Unfortunately I cannot say more, but that's the big goal, and I hope we will achieve it. It will also change the dynamics around us, I'm sure.
Okay, well, again, I won't push you on the fact because it's obviously top secret. Fantastic. I mean, it sounds exciting stuff. I want to end by talking again about you and Andre and Octagon in general. And for me, again, being around the sport for 17 years, seeing a lot of European promotions, you guys are the first that I have known of. Even now, you talk about the other promotions. You talk about being at the MMA Awards and being in Vegas and all that sort of stuff. We talk about KSW. We can talk about all these other people. But in Europe, bums on seats and people actually spending money and giving the opportunity to fighters to actually have money. Like, so many people have attempted it in Europe. So many. Like, so many shows that I know have done 3 shows and never come back. So many, you know? So what do you think is the secret to why you guys managed to get it right up until this point, 7 years into the journey? We can talk again in another 7 years and see how big it is and where you guys are. But 7 years in, how you've achieved to sell out arenas of 20,000 people, 19,000 people in different countries, in different places. How come you guys have done it and others have failed so miserably?
Maybe it's I would say definitely the main thing is the storytelling behind, the pure love to share our passion with the fans, because and because we appreciate the fighters so much. I don't know, it's about inner motivation. This is where I am aiming. Like, many people they want to be famous, like me as a promoter. I want to be like Caesar on the top. Someone wants to be someone wants to have money, so he's driven by money. Someone, I don't know, someone is, for example, pure MMA lover, and he see too much technically, you know, he just picking the best fighters and he don't see anything else. I would say that our highest motivation is to entertain people with MMA, because our biggest reward is full arena of people. So to see that 20,000 people getting crazy, that's the best feeling ever. This is why we are doing it. We are driven by this, and that's why I mentioned fighters, to make them stars. Sometimes it goes against us. We build someone like crazy, and then he go to UFC or something, and this kind of stuff. Or we reinvest all money back to make it even bigger because we like it, you know, 20,000 people. So now we want a football stadium, which, if you put the math together, at the end you will earn more in O2 Arena. It's cheaper than build up everything in football stadium, but somehow this is our biggest motivation. I think that's the difference. And also somehow it needs to click sometimes, because many times there's just one promoter. We are lucky, I would say we are 2. So many things are divided, you know, between 2. Sometimes, not just like, for example, Andre is perfect in matchmaking, right? He's amazing. I would say one of the best matchmakers in the world. I would say my strong part is the storytelling and creating the shows and these things, which also is Andre's very, very strong part. I'm just saying, like, sometimes he's here, I'm here, or whatever, you know, so we can divide it between 2. It's a big help. And we have the same vision, like I said, even if we are very different, I would say, personalities, but we have the same vision, so it's easy to go through problems, things, and because we see it similar or same, where nobody else is. Sometimes very funny, actually, how we look at the graphics. For example, the graphic team sent us, and we see the same. We don't say what's wrong, you know, like, and nobody else. If we even hire very good and skilled artists, they don't see it the same way. So this kind of chemistry altogether, and plus we have great, amazing team, highly motivated people. This is important because then they do this extra mile in their work, and we can achieve it. Yeah,
I think that's a beautiful place to end. Been a much more well-rounded discussion than I expected.
Oh,
Cigar was fantastic.
Oh.
Cigar from best cigar in
happy.
2022. So thank you very much for that. I look forward to the future with Octagon. I hope to be a part of it for a very, very long time.
Same
and I'm
here.
sure you will garner more and more interest and love and fill plenty more stadiums up to have that moment. Thank you very much for your time, Pavol. I hope
my
everyone
God, thank
enjoys
you.
it. Just to give a last shout out, Newcastle, 27th of January in the UK. Support Octagon. Be there because, like I said, they're selling out arenas all over Europe and maybe in the Middle East, maybe in France, maybe in Serbia in a couple of years, and it's going to grow, 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 grow. So thank you very much for your time. And
Thank you for inviting me.
awesome,
Appreciate it.
guys.